what advice do you have for young people graduating with a hospitality degree?
I would say find a hospitality brand that fits your values, that fits you, your character, your personality. You know, the wonderful thing about hospitality now is we have so many different brands, and it's about how do you go out there and connect with a brand. Don't just go and work for any hotel. Find a brand that you can connect with. You know, look at their values. What do they post online? And go, well, these are the values we believe in. This is the way in which we work. And you've got to think, do those fit with me? Do I want to be associated with that? Because then you're going to find it's just going to be a nicer place to work.
And I think one of the ways you can work through this madness is to try and seek out knowledge and upskill. I think that's the right path. I think employers will want to know what you've been doing during those idle months if you didn't have any job. So try to retrain, reskill, upskill. Create small projects and experiment. The key, I think, is to ensure that no day passes without you being productive and being able to tell yourself that you achieved something. I mean, if it's not learning new skill, and there's lots of free seminars and webinars, can I help my local community with my current skills? I mean, some of you have amazing skills and you might even be creative, but you can help a charity, you can volunteer, you can make bread, you can do the shopping for a vulnerable neighbor. You know, whatever you do, think of the skill you can add to your CV as well. So that when the time comes, you tell your future employer that maybe the majority of people were watching TV, fearful of a future, you know, that politicians were making out to be super bleak. But you were out there on the field, you know, either physical field or the digital field. And you were creating a hopeful future for yourself and others.
The first question I will ask people when I re-employ, what did you do through furlough? What did you do through lockdown?
Yeah.
And if you say, I learned sourdough, I'll be semi-impressed because I tried to do that and I gave up a bit. But if you say, oh, I did a Google Digital Garage course, or I set up a little shop selling jams, or I volunteered for the NHS, or I made visors. I made visors, it was quite cool. You know, then I go, wow, you've really done something, because it's not about what you learn from Yanis Pantelides, it's what you do with that and to learn other things. And I think everyone has had so much time who have not been working in the last 6 months, and because of not commuting maybe to class or whatever, will have spare time to learn more. And I think people who do that, the final thing which I say in every year with hospitality is show your passion. Yeah, be passionate about it. You know, when jobs really start coming back, and they will for sure, the pool of people available are going to be incredible. Yeah, it will be the first time probably in the UK for a decade that there will be more skilled people than jobs rather than the other way around. And if students, when they graduate, don't show that they love it, don't show that they've learned, don't show that they understand the industry, you know, bigger than just the one hotel they're looking at, there will be someone else who has done that research and done it. So I think that's what's really important. Aim to be the best.
Yeah, I think take some time to work on your own development every day. It's quite easy to get absorbed in your own little bubble of work, but it's equally important to keep an eye on the bigger picture. Like I said earlier, when you leave university, no one will be sending you links or journals with wider industry research and trends, and it's important you keep an eye on that and not just what's going on with your day-to-day roles. So first thing I would say is sign up to some industry publications to keep you in the loop of what's going on, be it e-hotelier, the caterer, boutique hotelier. There's so many good resources out there. And then of course you've got the Institute of Hospitality membership, which again hosts many online workshops and webinars and supports with great educational material throughout your careers. I would say never stop learning. It's important as an aspiring leader and manager to acknowledge that and just continue with your own growth and self-development as you go. You'll quickly learn that you learn from everyone in the industry. That's your colleagues you work alongside, those that you report into, those that report into you. You will learn from every single person. I think that's really important to remember that as you go forwards with your careers. Start as you mean to go on. So write to hospitality businesses, make people get to know you, ask for work, shadowing opportunities to develop your skill sets, and most importantly, don't give up. So if the thought of doing or trying something new scares you when you first graduate, I would just advise you to get used to that feeling of fear and do it anyway. Because as long as you're continuing to grow and push out into the world and stretch your capabilities, and continue to take new risks to achieve your goals, it's important to remember that you'll always experience some form of fear, and the only way to get rid of that fear is just going out there and doing it anyway. I think if you take that mindset with you, you'll maximise your full potential and you'll go far. So,
work experience. That is my top advice, because I would never have got the job at P&O had I not worked in a travel agency on a Saturday while doing my degree. That gave me that competitive edge. You know, came out with a really good degree, said and did all the right things in the interview, but when they focused on the fact I'd worked in a travel agency for 2 years, every Saturday and during the holidays, they said, yeah, well, this is great because you already understand the industry, you already know the practicality of it. So that is definitely work experience. I'm the same when I recruit. If you haven't done work experience through school and college, there's so much that you will miss out on in terms of skill set.
Network.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say anyone that, okay, let's start at the beginning. I think being very certain about what are the areas that you want to try out, and not saying no to opportunities, even if it doesn't look like an opportunity at first.
Yeah.
I'll always say, think a lot bigger, think 10 years ahead, not just now. Like, you know, spending a couple of months in a dodgy place is actually okay if it allows you to just make money to keep going.
Yeah.
And then making sure that you're spending your spare time efficiently, learning things, you know. So hence, this is what I mean, where grow your network, you know, reach out to people that you know, see if you can be introduced to other industries, for example, just for the time being. And if there are any kind of opportunities where, okay, whether it's be an apprentice program, like things that you actually wouldn't have wanted to do, especially since you've got a degree, you're like, you have to adopt the mindset, like you're starting from zero. It doesn't matter. No one cares about your qualification, especially at this kind of time. Are you going to be hardworking enough? Are you going to be teachable enough where you're willing to learn and you're willing to try out new things? So yeah, I think it's definitely a very tough one. But I don't think it's not what other people haven't been through. Like, I think in terms of recession and all that, there's a cycle of 10 to 11 years. It will pass.
Hospitality is going through a rough time. Hospitality, travel, we're all going through a rough time right now. But the one thing you can almost guarantee is that hospitality is never going to die. Hospitality isn't just, as you said earlier on, about hotels or restaurants or bars. Hospitality is a very wide and broad, I want to say vertical, but that's not the right word. There's a lot involved, and there are so many avenues and so many opportunities out there that don't have to be the typical, he's a waiter or he's a barman or he's a chambermaid. No, there are so many different roles out there, and especially now with business intelligence and AI, for instance, is something huge, and they're using that within hospitality now. You know, there are so many opportunities that you might not think about typically or historically, Just be very open. Hospitality will come back. The travel business will come back. The hospitality business always transforms itself. It always, you know, people will always have a thirst for travel, for knowledge, for culture, for exploring new things and new places. And there's space for everyone and for you to do the things you want to do within the hospitality sector.
And grab every experience, you know, and get a coach, get a coach or mentor, someone that will hold your hand through it, someone that will get you through the moments where you don't feel secure, or when you don't know if you've made the right choice, or when you have to choose the path. And then be true to yourself. If you are a hospitality industry employee or a future hospitality, if you're a hospitalian, like I describe in my book, you live the hospitality life. That's the life you live. You don't have to be even at work. It's not work and personal life. That's just the life we live, right? We're hospitalian through any action outside of work. So live it, keep that passion burning, keep it alive. But again, you know, don't necessarily look for the dream job and get discouraged that the dream job is not open or nobody's hiring. There is an actual hiring mode. Everyone is hiring, not everyone, but a lot of places are hiring. So don't get discouraged, take you know, an overnight baker job, or don't get discouraged to take a job that maybe it's not something that's ideally great, but just do it. It's better than sitting home. You're still going to learn so much. You're going to meet the people along your way, and you're still gaining that experience. You're building yourself.
No, but I mean, you got to stay positive. This is short term. I hope. Jobs will open up, you know, once you've qualified and you're looking out there for a job, it will be around, and it's just being patient and being positive. And just, you know, help others around you as well if you can, not just your nearest and dearest, but to kind of look out for your neighbours and things like that. So, but you know, at the end of the day, it's all about keeping positive, because at the end of the day, you don't want to go down a little spiral and end up really suffering.
Brilliant. Hello, everybody. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about you as a brand you. And we're going to talk about how you can promote yourself in the same way that all these incredible brands would promote themselves. And if you like, their packaging is your image, their PR is your LinkedIn and your networking, their advertising is your CV. And so what we're doing is we're taking lessons from all these incredible brands, and then we're saying, actually, you can use this for yourself. So I want you to package and promote yourselves in absolutely the best way so that you really do stand out.
Again, not an easy question. And given the state of the economy, and particular my specialist field, food at work or workplace catering, contract catering, the shape of that right now, very hard to say, but certainly additional training, qualifications, anything to keep the mind sharp and the fingers busy is good. But again, come back to my point earlier, life is about balance. If you can get some sort of on-the-job training, no matter how poorly paid, but just try and get some relevant work experience, even if it's only for a few hours, as well as continuing with a formal training qualification to keep the mind sharp. I think as and when the opportunities arise, you'll be top of the pile.
I would say this. Absolutely, it has been a really tough time for the sector in particular. But keep an open mind to what is possible, because I think you mentioned earlier that procurement within hospitality, it's not really a well-recognized function that exists within hospitality, but the amount of occupations that exist are so far and wide, you know, so far and wide, and extend within leisure, within travel. I would say be clear on what you want and go and find it. And, you know, what you seek, you will find, quite simply. I really believe that. You know, I always use the analogy that, you know, if I'm in a room, if you look for red, you'll find it, right? The color red. If you look for it, you'll find it. What you look for, you will find. And it applies to all parts of life. It really does.
I would say, don't feel overwhelmed. Be calm. Just be calm. And remember what I said about you, no one's perfect. So look at where your strengths lie, and then work out where you need support to make you that flexible, creative, well-rounded person. If look at where the jobs are. If you're looking for jobs, look for where the jobs are. You know, I mean, I know over the country properties are booming. The city properties are struggling. So go to where the jobs are. Ask for mentoring and coaching to keep you current. Keep your eyes open for other opportunities that are around to network and to do more. Volunteer if need be. Jobs will come back. I think hospitality is the mental health barometer of the country. People, for their mental health, like to socialize, get out, treat themselves. You know, when we're closed down, everyone's depressed. When we're open up, everyone's happy. We will bounce back. It's just a matter of time. If you're in a job and you've got a job, then be the most flexible, positive person you can be in your role. If you're looking for a job, find a mentor, find a coach, ask. I always answer my LinkedIn. There's people out there. You can get to leaders, you can get to people, and you can ask them for advice. And generally, they'll give it to you as much as they can.